On behalf of the entire Xscale family, I welcome you to Coffee with Xscale 2.0. We are thrilled to have you join us for an exciting session filled with insights and connections. Thank you for being here, and let's dive into today's session. Let me share today's agenda with you all. We have got exciting ventures, insightful startup discussions, and a sales strategy workshop on tap today. First up, introduction to Xscale and the Xpricing launch. Then we dive into the startup discussion with a panel on venture capital insights. We'll celebrate Ocellair Ventures next, followed by a discussion on enterprise startup collaboration. After lunch, there will be a workshop on building an effective demand gen strategy. The afternoon panel features on scaling from seed to IPO and building a strong startup ecosystem. We'll wrap up with a closing session. Get ready for a jam-packed day of learning and growing. Xscale Global is a leading B2B growth consulting firm founded by industry leaders worldwide who have led businesses for Fortune 500 companies. The key focus of Xscale is to accelerate the revenues of B2B companies and help them expand in international markets. We specialize in helping B2B companies with creation of GTM strategy, building a robust sales engine, helping with demand generation, and deploying tooling architecture for sales and marketing teams. Now, I invite someone who embodies the vision and leadership of Xscale Global. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a round of applause as we welcome Neeraj, CEO at Xscale Global, to the stage. While he is coming up, let's take a moment to appreciate the dedication and leadership that Neeraj brings to Xscale Global. With a wealth of experience, Neeraj has spent over 2 decades in leadership roles within leading global corporations such as SAP and FIS, where he successfully managed billion-dollar businesses. An IIM Lucknow alumnus, Neeraj also studied business strategy at Wharton and technology entrepreneurship at Harvard. Now I request Neeraj to talk more about Xscale and how it helped companies in their growth journey. Neeraj?
Thanks, Nidhi. Maybe we can put on the slides. Can you? Hey, good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking out time to come here on a Saturday. I know there are family pressures, wives or husbands, whatever it is. But still you are here. Thanks a lot. Hope we will try to justify your time or make a productive use of it. As Nidhi explained, we try to curate an agenda which we believe is meaningful to everyone who is in the room. So there are 3 kind of profiles. There are startup founders, there are investors, and there are some seasoned CXOs in the room. We will try to see how we can justify your time and make a good use of your time. So I'll start with giving a quick overview of Xscale. I know many of you know about Xscale, but some of you may not. And then, by the way, the rate at which Xscale is changing, it is faster than the Delhi weather. So I think it may be worthwhile to walk you through or give a quick overview of what Xscale does, and then we'll take it forward from there. So Xscale, as we describe ourselves, we help B2B companies expand into India and in international markets. That's a core there where we started with. As I said, we have diverged or grown quite far from there, and I'll talk about it. Broadly, the way we define it, we are the chief strategy officer for many of the B2B companies. I'll explain how we do that. Okay. So Xscale broadly has 3 lines, right? Or we can call it the service line or the business lines, right? Through which we operate. First is the GTM consulting practice. Here we work with companies of different sizes, but the common thread between all of them is they all are B2B companies, right? Their size varies from sub 10 crore or few crores to few hundred crores. That's the size of the companies we are working with right now. I'll go into details of each of these. that what we do exactly in this. The second line is venture capital services, right? By the way, when you read these three, they may look quite diverged. Means what is the correlation between these three things, right? That are here and that Xscale is doing. In this slide only, I would like to explain what is the correlation and why we are doing what we are doing. So we started as a GTM consulting company exactly 3 years back. That was 1st August 2021, right? We are 20th July 2024 today. So exactly 3 years, almost 3 years back, we started as a GTM consulting service company. At that point of time, we also starting putting money in some of the companies we were consulting. So that was more like a prop capital. And then we did some of the syndication. And for that, we start engaging with some other peer VC firms because, okay, let's co-invest, let's co-evaluate and things like that. And that's where we start grown that relationship, where we co-invested with on most of these are our pre-seed, seed stage fundings, right? Because that was bulk of that was a prop capital. At that point of time, we start engaging closely, and VC firm said, "Okay, that's pretty interesting. Why don't you take up some of our companies for growth acceleration purposes?" And that's where we start working more closely with VC firms. And then as that journey grows or progress, what we did is, there were other areas that came up. So, for example, they said, okay, now you are engaging with us for the company where we already invested. Why don't you help us before we invest in taking a judicious call? Is it a good investment or not? Yeah, I think there is an echo. Just can you please check? So then they invited us to see if we can engage with them pre-investment. So then we started doing commercial pre-due diligence, that what is the real potential of the company, and then we have partnered with another, CA and law firm where we have all offering the 360-degree DD, due diligence, commercial DD, FDD, and LDD. So that's how it is. So that's how this has, we moved into this side. Third one is the products and platforms, right? So I came from, myself from, I have done the GTM strategy, go to market throughout my life, right? One of the biggest problem I face, even in the largest of the corporations, and now with a lot of startup and mid-sized companies, the tooling architecture has always been a problem. It has been the biggest problem throughout my life of being a GTM leader in the corporate, right? And when we started these projects are picking up, talking to the as a consulting company to many of the small and mid-sized companies, the problem becomes even more compound because now we don't even have that kind of money that we used to have in our corporates. In corporate, you put a tool, doesn't work, throw it out, bring another one. No startup can afford that, right? And that's where we thought we need to solve this, how to solve this, and then I'll talk about a bit when I'll go into the details, that how we approached solving this problem. So that's where we end up forming a product and platform division within Xscale last year. So this is the most recent addition. I'll talk about what we do in each of these areas. Okay, I'll start with GTM consulting services. First, some numbers, right? Basically, conclusion first, and then we'll go into the story. Uh, Based on the entire set of more than 24 companies that have worked with us, this is the end outcome. 2.1x growth in revenue. That means revenue has more than doubled since the time they came to us. 2.9x growth in the pipeline build. Pipeline is always a leading indicator in the sense, if you're building pipeline eventually, you will see that in revenue in some days to come. Third one is cost of customer acquisition has gone down by at least 28%. 87% growth in APM and ABM led revenue. What is the APM and ABM led revenue for those who don't know? Every company, and not all company needs to have some large enterprise key accounts. You need to crack them, right? If any B2B company, if they have to grow really big, they need to crack some large enterprise accounts. APM and ABM is the account-based marketing and account planning and management strategies, where you go and mine those accounts to generate more revenue. So the companies those who work with us have seen a 87% growth in those accounts. The last number is I think will interest all of you. The first four might have interest some and some not that much. Last number is interesting one. 43% valuation CAGR growth. What does that mean? So when the company came to us, if they are funded, they had a valuation, right? And once they start working with us, their valuation has progressed. This is the CAGR of their valuation growth, right? Now, how do we compare it? What about it, right? So I won't hazard a guess for India CAGR. There's no published data. For US, this data is available. This is around 21%. So in US, VC funded companies are growing or delivering the valuation gains at a rate of 21%, right? And then you can assume a similar number for India, right? As I said, I won't hazard a guess there. But the companies that are with us are growing at 43%. So is it a sheer luck, or there is a recipe to the success? Let's sorry. Yeah. So let's see. At least we will explain what is our recipe. Obviously, luck might have played a role. I don't know. We can never count that. But now on a portfolio of more than 2 dozen companies, we just can't say it's all luck, right? So let's see what we assume or what we believe is our recipe to take these companies to a faster growth rates, right? So as I said, we started as a GTM consulting company, and some of those who are founders in this room, when you start your revenue journey or you start progressing on your revenue journey, you do some of this stuff that is written on the top. Trade shows, marketing agencies, digital marketing, inside sales and whatnot. There are dozens of such channels that exist, right? And every company tries something, burn a lot of money most of the time. Some of them become, I would say, successful. Some of them are not. But why? But most of the founders that came to us, right, or they complain that there is a huge problem. I don't know what to do. I'm doing all those things that I've read on internet. Do digital marketing. I'm doing digital marketing. Do hire agency. I've hired agency, right? They said hire an inside sales team. I did that. Still, it's not working out. So the analogy I give to all of them is, see, B2B sales is like running an automobile, right? And to run an automobile, what you need is an engine. All of these are small parts of engine. They all are required, absolutely they are required, but they need to come together and moved in a synchronized fashion to make the automobile move, right? Only with a carburetor fitting in your car will definitely not move, as you can understand, right? So that's what we help company achieve, building a end-to-end go-to-market engine, right? Instead of trying some point solutions, etc. So after, as I said, working with a lot of companies, we came up with a framework. We call it Xscale, where we help the company right from the plan, building that engine, and then finally executing that. Thanks. So, and then executing that, right? So to start with, so this is mostly true for companies that are sub $5 million range. Larger companies, when they come to us, there's a different approach. I'll talk about that, but this is mostly for the companies which are sub $5 million in revenue. I'm talking about, right? $4 to $5 million or less in revenues. This framework works pretty well. If you are doing like say $20 million, obviously you might have sorted out quite a few things, and then there is a point intervention may be required. So first is the go-to-market planning. This is one of the huge problems with many of the companies. And today we are conducting a workshop just after the lunch on how to do the go-to-market planning for your business. The big mistake, lies this time. You burn a lot of cash in digital channels and so on and so forth. But without a right go-to-market planning, this will all go waste. You are just not talking to your audience. You are not reaching your target audience, right? So this has to be sorted out. We always do this, right? Even if the company has this, we still review and refine this, right? We help early stage company through referral sales. We have an X multiplier network where we have more than 70 CXOs. sitting across the globe, and a couple of them are in this room today, right? They help our companies get early entries into new markets, right? Then we end up building a customized sales engine. I'll talk about it. We develop a demand generation strategy, build a full sales technology architecture to support and make the entire sales and demand generation engine efficient. Uh, and we help the company in the execution. So when we use consulting firm, a lot of companies have this view that we are like a McKinsey of the world. We come, give a lot of PPTs, and then walk away. That's exactly what we don't do, right? We build everything for you. That's why it's plan, build, and execute. We build it for you. We run the GTM processes. So that's why we say we act more like a chief growth or chief revenue officer for companies. Technically, now we are running their sales and marketing teams. We are running their forecast calls, and then so on and so forth, right? Uh, and finally, we help companies in the global expansion. All right, I'll talk about this in a while. So when I say sales engine, this is how a typical sales engine for a B2B company looks like, right? Obviously, every company will have their own customized version of a sales engine, but this is more like a sample diagram. These steps have to be there. They may be different for different companies. So for example, even just I'll just stay on the first one, just lead generation in B2B world, there are more than few dozen channels you can do lead generation, right? We have listed that 10, 12 here, right? If a company start trying all of them, they will take years before they reach to an optimized answer, right? So how to arrive at that in a fastest possible time is what we help solve that, and then building this entire cycle throughout till the time you win the deal and you do the customer success, upsell and cross sell. For the larger companies, as I said, we work on a bespoke model because many of the things, a few of the things are already been sorted, but they have problem in a specific area. So let's say they are acquiring customers, but what they are unable to do is growing that customer, growing the revenue of those customers, right? They are finding challenge there. That's where we help them on specific areas, let's say account management, or they have an inside sales team but don't have a field sales team. We set up, those sales teams, etc., from beginning or scratch for them. When it comes to global expansion, we work with, I would say, we have a CXOs, those who are available in most of the geographies, and then we have a partner network. So right from incorporating the offices to the product compliance in terms of GDPR, to the taxation compliance, transfer pricing, all of that. There are so many moving parts when you try to move international. All of that, we help take care. This is I've referred to the expert multiplier network. These are some of the names. I'll skip it. These are the kind of companies, as I said, we are working with companies, pretty small to fairly large. We share a lot of knowledge on the social media, we write articles. Feel free to subscribe to them, subscribe to our newsletter, or join our LinkedIn page. We keep sharing a lot of knowledge on each of these channels. So that's about the GTM consulting. I'll quickly talk about the venture capital services we have. So as I said, we started as a investor ourselves, right, through the prop capital and syndicate. And then as we move, now we have very deep relationships with a lot of VC firms, right? While we invest our capital, but I think that pool is way too small for most of the kind of companies now we are working with. And hence, it's important to work with others in the ecosystem to make that capital available, right? So we work with other VC firms on multiple areas. So for example, fund management as a service, where we are taking care of end-to-end, sourcing of the deals for a VC firm. As I said, we do the entire diligence, etc. At the same time, we help them post-investment. We help those companies accelerate, and that's fund management as a service. Today we will announce a launch of a joint venture between us and a new fund that is being formed, which will be fully managed by Xscale. Diligence I've spoken about, right? So FDD, LDD, but at the same time we do commercial due diligence. And then third is the portfolio growth and governance, right? So one is the growth part we work on. The second thing is when we work with VC firms, one of the things we ensure that the the governance parameters which are in question, and we will discuss in a subsequent panel discussion as well, are very, very important. You have seen the case of Byju's and in all in recent past, right? Some of the things that that came up because of those is there are serious governance lapse, right? Governance lapse, by the way, if you ask me to classify, happens because of multiple reasons, but two reasons are the biggest and contributes to 80% of the cases. You have an issue with the revenue recognition policies, or you have a related party transaction. These are the two things which constitute to 80% of the governance lapses in the companies. So either you recognize a revenue which was not a revenue, right? Baiju was one of those cases. They recognized the revenue before the service being delivered. Not many people don't understand the difference between revenue in my bank versus when to recognize that revenue. These are two different things. Even if the customer has given you money, service is not fully delivered, you are not supposed to recognize that revenue. How many founders even know about that, right? Basic things, right? But when you put the right processes, when we work with the founders and the companies, we ensure that all of this is in place. And that's why I say we work with a lot of VC companies in helping their portfolio companies making the right governance frameworks. And then the third is the product and platform side. As I said, the most recent one. So when we were working on the multiple consulting assignments, as I said, there was a clear evident need of stitching a technology framework that can help end to end the companies, right? And because of that, what we built first was something called Xcalibur, right? So so Xcalibur we have taken, initially we started with all third-party tools. We have taken a lot of third-party tools, integrated and stitched them together, written the intelligent workflows. So just integration does not solve the problem, as you can understand. There has to be intelligent decision support layer that this data moves here, and if the data has this value, do this, right? So that has been stitched and created, and this is an ongoing project, in that sense, right? We have might have integrated like 15 odd tools. It has been deployed in many of our portfolio companies. And after this, they have seen significant operational gains on their returns on technology investments, right? This is the first part. So we did that. The interesting insight came when we deployed this for our portfolio companies. Things went very, very well, right? Then some of the other folks reached out to us. Can you give us, or can you help us deploy this technology platform? We said, yeah, why not? Let's do that. So we did that. They have seen amazing gains in the efficiency. So their SDR productivity increased by 250%. All of that, but revenue impact was much lesser, and that surprised us. What's happening here, right? Uh, we did a deep dive with those companies, and what we realized is, as I said, the problem was in the fundamental go-to-market approach, right? The target customers to the channels they were using were wrong in the first place. So any amount of technology intervention will not solve the problem. So it's like this, right? We have given you a Ferrari. You have to go from X to Y. So we have given you a Ferrari, but what we have not given you a Google Maps and leave you in a new city, right? You will drive your car very fast, but there's no guarantee that you will reach your destination, right? Because it's directionless speed, right? So while tool can provide you speed, what was lacking was still the direction, right? And then we started thinking, for the companies we are consulting with, we are solving this problem, but how to solve this problem at a scale? And that's where the idea of Xscale One View emerged, right? So whatever we are doing as a consulting firm, can we crystallize that and put it in some tools? All of that is definitely not possible to put it in the form of tools, because there's a layers of intervention. but some of it can definitely be put in the form of tools. That's what we thought, and then we spent huge amount of time building the architecture that what can be taken in a form of tool that we are doing as a consulting that will act as the cockpit or a thinking brain for the GTM engine, right? And then that's where it started. So we came out with this architecture. Ashwani, who's our CTO, who will soon join us on the stage, we'll talk a little more about it. But when we did this, obviously this is a significant large project, right, in the sense, right? So we started with that. One is the first engine is the GTM. That means a tool that can help you plan your go-to-market strategy. As I said, there's a workshop planned in 2 to 3 today. Uh, in a consulting mode, we'll tell you how to do it, right? We will just teach you that. But a tool will basically guide you or handhold you once it is ready. This is not ready. And then DG Planner is also in making. Basically, once you build your go-to-market plan, you need to have a pricing for each market. Number two, you need to have a DG plan for each market, right? And once you do all of this, DG plan is ready. You start executing through this engine. All the data will flow back to the DG planner and the go-to-market planning tool. So let's say I plan $2 million revenue from US market from product two. Is it happening or it's not happening? If it's not happening, do I need to change a DG plan? Do I need to change pricing, or do I need to the go-to-market itself? They all are interrelated, right? You change one, everything else will change. You change GTM plan, everything will change. You change pricing, everything will change, right? So basically, it's not only the planning, but continuous planning, monitoring. So you plan from here, you execute from here, you again monitor here. Any adjustment you make here will automatically be there across the board, right? So that's the intent. Sorry, you have a question, Payal? Oh, demand generation planner. I'm so sorry. DG planner is demand generation planner. So you do go to market. GTM is go to market. You do the go to market planning. You price your products, and then you make a DG plan or demand generation plan, and then you execute through here, and then that's how they all are interrelated. So that's where we are working with. So today, I think while these two are still in works, we could able to complete this. So we will use this place to formally launch or give this tool to the audience here. We were in a closed beta for last month or so, and then I think this is the time we will release it to the public. So I'll take this opportunity to release Xpricing to the world or to the audience here. And then to do that, I want to invite Ashwani Agrawal, who is our CTO, on this stage. Please give a big round of applause for Ashwani. So let me introduce Ashwani. What has happened? Okay. So let me introduce Ashwani. Ashwani is a seasoned technology leader, 23 years in the technology industry, have built pretty complex and large technology architectures, led engineering teams of 200 plus FTEs in his career, and now he's here with us. When we are bringing in Ashwani, right? A lot of people said, "Oh, such a senior technology leader you are bringing in, but why? Means why don't you hire a 6-year guy and give him a CTO position? That's what all the startups anyway do, right?" So, but that's what we don't want. What we want to build is something that is absolutely world class, right? What we are attempting is not there in the market, right? I know what the bet we are taking might have its own risk, but we want to take a best shot at it rather than half-hearted attempt to build something, because building this kind of stuff require serious domain knowledge and a super high level of technology skills, right? And then that's what we want to build. So let's I'll take this opportunity to launch Xpricing. Let's move to what we'll do is
Let me. Is this working?
okay. So it's there. So yeah, so we will launch Xpricing today. What we'll do, instead of making it a PP2 based presentation, we have Ashwani here. We will try to show you how this tool works, and then for the audience for today, we will give you a kind of a promo code, right? with which you can try this tool for free. It is a SaaS tool. Feel free to try this. Would love to hear your feedback as well, right? We were in a closed beta. This is the first time it will go to the public. We will give you a promo code. Please try this and then give us a feedback. But before that, let us run, one simulation in front of you so you understand what this tool does and how it does. So so as to explain it, it's pretty simple SaaS-based tool, simple in the usage point of view when I say, right? It basically works based on your goals. So you decide that what are your goals, what you want to achieve, and the tool will work backwards from there. So let's say you want to achieve $5 million in revenue by fourth year or whatever it is, right? And then you say, I want to take a call on EBIT. I want to be at least at 20% EBIT, or I don't care about EBIT. I'm venture funded, so I just want to go after the growth, right? You give your call, and you give the high level parameters, and the tool will work backwards to give you the answer. What should be the price of the product year on year? How many customers you need to acquire year on year to reach your goals, and what will your EBIT, cash flows, etc. will look like while you do that. Yeah, and it will take certain input. So instead of talking this, Ashwini, shall we
Yep.
shall we
So we
log
can
in
dive
the
into the tool. Yeah, before we go ahead, thank you, Neeraj, for introducing, and good to connect with you all today. This is the first time we've been attending this coffee with Xscale. I think last year also we had the similar session. I think some of you would have attended the last year as well. But good to connect with you all. As Neeraj was mentioning, right, this is our first tool as part of the complete tool chain that we're trying to build. So we are looking at the problem holistically, though this first solution will look like a point solution, but going forward, we are into a journey where we'll have the complete picture we need to showcase you early, right? At some point of time, we'll be presenting to you a complete end-to-end workflow where you'll start and everything will be on a single pane of glass. You can do all your sales and marketing from that single pane of glass. So all these, even third-party tools, we plan to integrate at some point of time using SSO so that you don't need to jump across 100 tools to do your job. It will be a single pane. You just few clicks of things, you will be able to do all your stuff. So this is where we are heading towards. But yeah, coming back to Xpricing, yes, it's a single tool. It still can be used as a SaaS-based solution, right? You can access it on your machine, mobile, everywhere. So let's jump directly onto the tool. So I'll log into the tool and we'll run a simulation there, Neeraj.
yeah, absolutely. So the way we are approaching the problem is, as I said, the GTM cockpit that we are creating, it has three components, right? XGTM, Xpricing, and the DG Planner. All of them can be used independently as well. So they will be available as independent tool as well. At the same time, you can consume them in one comprehensive view where they all are interconnected, and linked to the execution engine, right? And then that's where we'll go to the one view approach.
So this is the URL, right? Simply, it is, I've already placed it on your browser. So xpricing.ai. So I'll log into simply my account. So you can sign up for free using a promo code that has already been published. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Still, it's not. I'm not used to working on others' laptop actually. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, correct. Microsoft crashed.
Yeah.
Gemini
Maybe I hope
crashed.
it not crash
So
today.
this is a good omen, basically. I'll say something don't work in demo normally work pretty well in later days. Good, Ashwani.
Thank you. So I think
Cool.
because it's already set up, I've already run certain simulations. So you see the dashboard, but on the first page, maybe you'll not see any numbers there because it starts by adding a product, right? Say, for example, you want to sell maybe you have one product in your portfolio, maybe n number of products, right? For each product, you would have a certain, because there is was mentioning earlier, you'll create your GTM plan, right? You'll already have defined that, okay, in what markets you want to sell your products to, maybe in India, US, right? Europe. So you already have a product in mind and your market segments you want to sell to. So for each product, for each geo, you'll start adding your product and cost in a simple, to use form, right? This is where we start here. So I'll just before we get into actual simulation, I just quickly walk through on the workflow then, and then we'll start for a simulation so that it is easy for everybody to just quickly understand what
Sure.
we're trying to do
Yeah,
while filling the
let's
numbers.
let's
Right.
quickly do that. Yeah.
So once we have all the inputs filled in, right, you can continue to add your products geo-wise cost and add all these products costs here in it, and you can view, right, what costs you have filled in. You can add it, right, it's just normal functions, and then from a functionality perspective, then you move to the simulation engine, right? For each product and for each geo, you can simulate your prices. We're not saying that you once arrive at a price, you start selling your product to that price. You create multiple simulations and see how your numbers look like in terms of revenue or in terms of profitability, right? So you select your product from this list and then you select the cost. You fill in your revenue target, right? And the target year, right? Because some customers say, okay, I want to do, let's say, 1 million of revenue in year 3, right? Because it may not be possible to do 1 million year 1, but I have a target to achieve at 1 million in year 3. Or some may say, I want to do 5 million in year 5. So that way you can fill in your targets. Then you can provide
But
a
maybe Ashwani,
kind
why
of
don't
range.
we start filling it as we
Yeah, let's
talk?
do that.
You know, I think that would
Sure.
make it more clear. So let's say I am
Let's
a
do that
founder,
quickly.
right?
Right. Let's
And
say I create a like demo product quickly.
sure, this is any industry because
So
right now
currently,
we kept it generic. What can happen in days to come? That if there are industry specific parameters, we can add that. But we have given open fields where any industry specific parameter can be added to that. And yeah, including service industry. That's true.
so let's say we want to sell in US. Let's pricing currency USD. Let's start filling. Let maybe your product, right? Let's say you are a founder. You want to fill some cost there. Maybe I'll put some
Upfront
numbers
product
for yourself.
development cost. Okay,
Okay.
so the cost incurred till date on the product development. Let's put it 500,
500K maybe.
500K. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Maybe
amortization.
you want to amortize it over a period of a year, so we'll put 5 there.
Okay.
Maybe 100K as a
Sure.
ongoing development cost with the inflation, right? 10% year on year growth.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead. So one thing that I want to highlight here is, say for example, product is same, right? And the product development cost will remain the same. And you want to segregate that cost into multiple geos. So you can, just fill that what percentage of that overall development cost you want to budget for that particular geo in order to calculate the accurate EBIT coming out of that geo. Because rest of the cost will remain the specific to that geo. So currently, let's say I want to just sell in US, so I'll put 100% that my all complete product cost will be used to calculate the EBIT in the US region. Yeah, let's put some infrastructure. Or it could be like some your cloud infrastructure, any software, hardware, anything you want to put, Neeraj.
Whatever you want.
Maybe okay. Let's put maybe $100 a month, maybe 1,200,
Whatever.
and let's say 10% increment over a year. Admin cost, maybe your sitting facility and all,
Sure.
maybe $25,000, maybe. So sales and marketing get put both ways, right? Usually, I think we've seen it is put as a percentage of revenue. So we have provided both the options. You can put a maybe there's a specific cost which is remains fixed. You can put the fixed cost here, and then you can put the variable cost here. Let's say we put 30% of revenue comes to a sales and marketing. Here will not fill anything.
Yeah, because most of the companies spend their or marketing budgets are planned based on as a percentage of revenue, right? That's a standard practice, and that's what I think Ashwini is
right.
Yeah.
So it will be onboarding cost, but say for example you are selling a product and product falls in a category where you need to spend some amount to onboard a customer. So you can fill a specific onboarding cost for that customer at one time, right? Let's keep it blank for the moment. And there could be a situation where for your product, when you onboard certain number of users to a customer, right? And there is a additional infrastructure cost. It would be a cloud cost. Say, for example, each user need a cloud storage, right? Your storage cost goes up. So for each specific user, also, if you want to specify, you can specify. Even the minor cost makes an impact on your margins. So you can put maybe implementation cost. If there, you can put, let's say, $100 for each customer. Support cost maybe, let's say, $1 per customer, sorry, per user. Cost of capital is the upfront cost that you have already specified. Neeraj,
Yeah,
let's
sure.
put it
So
20%
basically,
maybe.
correct. Every company, if they are raising a money from the market, either from a VC fund or as a debt, there's a cost of capital, right? So we need to account for that. That there's a cost of
So
capital. So yeah,
let's put it
20% is
20%
fine
for now,
for
right?
now. Sure.
So now this demo product and the demo cost will be there. You'll move on to this simulation engine. You will see this is what we created right now. This is what we created. So it tells you, right, that you are doing this simulation for US and currency will be USD. Let's say some target, right? We'll have 500K already spent. Maybe how much you want to achieve on what year, Neeraj? What is your
That's a
goal
million
for your
dollar.
business?
That's $1 million in year
Okay.
3.
Okay. So you have any EBIT in mind, or you want to just see what EBIT would be there if you do 1 million?
Yeah, we can leave it.
Yeah,
Let's see
let's
that,
look at that.
where we hit it.
Yeah, let's you have some, or let's keep some open range, right? We cannot
Sure.
go with. So maybe let's keep it.
So basically, Ashwani, if we leave these ranges blank, we still get the answer, right?
Yes, but no, we can't keep these blank because these
Sure.
are mandatory fields.
Okay. So
But
we
you
are
can
stopping.
specify any range, right? It would be a
It
number.
can be very
right?
wide range. So okay. So we are trying to stop the AI hallucination here by giving him some range. Otherwise, it can may cost or may price your product at $1 million a piece.
True.
So we are basically trying to stop the AI hallucination by putting some ranges. Okay, so let's see what is this target 3.
So this is like in year 3, it says like you'll do 1 million, right? At a unit price of 100.
You need to have 2,000 customers.
Right?
Wow.
2001 customer, and your EBIT will be minus 2%.
Got it. Okay.
So now, see, the beauty of it is now, because you're not convinced with this, right? You say, okay, this does not look like a business case. You can always go back and fine tune your results. So that is the beauty of the project.
Sure.
You'll go back, you fine tune your parameters, and then again simulate and see, right, where it is fall, and then you can save the simulation. Maybe let's say July 24. They will list in your saved simulations. So now let's say, I don't know how much time do we have.
Let's quickly. I think let's quickly. So basically, let's take some scenarios. If this is one product, one geography, right? One product can be sold in multiple geographies. One use case. A company can have more than one product, right? And they need to be sold in multiple geography, right? So there are multiple combinations now that are possible.
I can show you some filled-in results if you
want
to.
Please do that.
Yeah, say for example, product 2, right? Like
Sure,
India, USD. So there are multiple simulations we did.
Yeah.
So add $250 per month if you want to sell 324 customers in year 3, right? Your revenue will come, and then 304. These are all same product simulations that you have done, right? So you can take a call, right? Which makes a business case, whether you will be able to sell at this 549 or not, right? If you could, right, and there's many number of customers, so you can baseline any simulations from here. This will basically get added to a list where it will calculate your overall product cash flow a bit, and if you have multiple products, your company view as well. That will basically get populated on the dashboard.
Yeah. So just to further elaborate on that, so let's say you run 3 simulation for product 1 India, right? Because you are trying different prices, different number of customers to start with. You did for the same thing with US and then UK and then so on and so forth, right? And then with product 2 and 3. But basically for one geography for one product, you need to say that, okay, my first port of call is $120, right, in US, $90 in India, right, for product one, and similar for product two. So now how will my consolidated financials will look like, right, with these different options? Because as a company, you need to see it at a holistically, at a portfolio level, all products in all markets, right? So that's what is baseline means, that you choose those results, and then try to see a comprehensive view across the company.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you're also discovering the price, right? As
True.
you were a startup, you were
Yes.
looking at what should be the price, and sometimes like I've seen that you may price it low in the beginning,
yeah.
just to break into the client.
True.
And then maybe look at
Increasing
raising
it.
the price so that you think that the customers will pay much more pay.
Correct.
Those kind
Yeah, that is there. So basically, if your ability to increase the price year on year is there, so basically you can say that I will able to increase the price after launch by 15% year on year, or maybe for first 2 years I'll increase by 15%, then I won't able to increase, and you want to show
So
it,
yeah, this is your license
right?
price
So
growth you
YOY
can fill in.
license price growth. So you can put that number. So all those assumptions that you do, you can put it. I'll not increase for first 2 years, then I'll increase by 50%.
Yeah, you can start
Then
increasing
it will
the
take
30s
all
by
that
50%.
into consideration and then give you the price options. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you also providing facility to factor in all sorts of revenue models out there?
Yeah. So for example, so when all sort of
You would have usage-based, you would have subscription, say a wallet, replenishment, all sort of models.
wallet is again the trans. So basically, see, there are few basic kind of product pricing, right? One is you sell it as a pure monthly SaaS subscription basis. Second, you sell it like a transaction based pricing basis, right? Per transaction, I have this price. Third option is you charge a fixed base fees, and then on top of that, it's transaction based. Third model. Fourth is you charge the implementation fee, and then either you do a monthly subscription or a transaction based. All of those models are possible.
Sure. And just one thing linked to the other gentleman's question here.
Yeah.
So, has any of your portfolio companies used this yet? Or
Yeah,
is it-
obviously. So there are guys in the room. So Vashish is there. He has
Okay.
done his product pricing using this.
Okay. So what stage are they using it at? When
any
they're
stage,
just
look.
planning it, or once they've done the price discovery and then they are recalibrating their model?
Both ways. So
Yeah,
I
both
think
ways, yeah.
Subhashish used it very early because he is early stage founder. We had, as I said, the mature companies. There's a one company, I won't name them. Founder may be joining, by the way, later today. They were doing some pricing when we did this calculation, and the company is largely bootstrapped, right? One of the founders have put a lot of capital in the company, and so on and so forth. They had a clear goal that I want to break even in the next 2 years because we cannot put more cash into it. And they were selling the product at a certain price. It's a SaaS CPaaS product. What ended up simulation, showing them is if you continue to sell at this, you're not gonna be break even in 5 years.
Yeah.
They actually increased their price by almost like 40%, and they did, and their customer continued. They had a very high fear that no customer will go away. I said, this is not even your cost. Where will customer go? Anyone will sell. This is the cost. How can anyone else will offer this if you are unable to offer it? So don't be too scared about, right? Now you have a clear data points that this is my fixed cost, etc., variable cost. So nobody else can able to offer unless until they start making losses, right?
Yeah.
So all of those that they increase their prices, and then they are now doing pretty well. So I think this is a running company that has changed their pricing strategy after this. There are companies that has built their pricing strategy
from
based on
scratch.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Based on these specifically with respect to the simulation which you are predicting, right? Based on the price which you're providing with respect to any product, right? To any startup, say
Sure.
for example, right? What are the KPIs which you're considering, and what is the current accuracy with respect to the percentage that the simulations are giving?
No, I think you need to just repeat
Yeah,
what
rephrase your
KPIs
question,
means.
yeah, please.
What
Key performance
KPIs?
indicators, say.
No, yeah.
Okay, so suppose you're giving certain price value,
Sure.
certain pricing for some products, right?
Yeah.
And then you're simulating with respect to the future scope of it.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Uh-huh.
Right. So when it comes to future scoping, we are predicting certain values, correct?
Certain price point.
And-
Value means the price point.
Price
Sorry.
points,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh, sure.
And there are different factors which will be affecting that simulation.
Correct.
What's the accuracy of it?
So look, ultimately this is what we need to. So some of the calls, I give you example.
Yeah.
Cloud infrastructure cost, right? Many of the SaaS company use cloud infrastructure from AWS and so on and so forth, right? Now there are different school of thoughts. People think that cloud infra cost will go up from there because the server and the storage cost is going up. There's a completely different school of thoughts. No, it will come crashing, right? Memory cost is going down. So AWS, etc. If they don't reduce their cost, someone else will come and then capture that, right? Anyway, there are volume-based discounts which are offered with all of these players, including Azure and then AWS, right? So I'm saying we need to take an educated guess on this. That do we expect per unit cloud infrastructure cost to go stagnant, will go up or go down, and by what percentage? So these are the educated guess. Nobody can.
That's what I'm asking with respect to that educated guess only.
Sure.
How accurate is your educated guess? Say, for example, there was one product which was for $50.
Sure.
Say, for example, for the next coming financial year, we are giving a pricing of, say, for example, $75. Whether or not will that product grow to nearby that value which we are predicting? How accurate is this tool for that?
Okay, so now I think let me explain it again, right? When we talk about educated guess, that is always taken by founder, right? On the cost side, right? How the cost will behave, tool obviously can't help you, right? So founder has to take that call. That will, do I expect my infra cost to go up or go down? My manpower cost to go up or go down, right? As Rajat asked, right? That I want to increase my price by 15%, right? So that call he has to take, right? Tool will work backwards to tell you that based on this thing, if you have an ability to sell to 200 customers, what is the optimal price where you meet your revenue and EBITDA targets, right? So that's what tool can tell you. Tool cannot tell you the future technology cost, right?
Correct.
In that sense.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Is there ability to kind of calculate after a few years?
Yeah.
You can do, right?
So anytime. So basically, either you can
do a rebaselining, right? Maybe after 1 year, right? You run your business for a year, and after 1 year, you want to do the simulation.